Brittany, we're having an audio issue in 5th grade. Could you help us out?
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. Those words are true today as they were then. Throughout the nation's history, American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to more than 650,000 American service members who died in the battle or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today. Those words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend the country they never knew and a people they never met. Those words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans, who are helping to maintain peace throughout the world. Today it is our privilege to say thank you to all of the America's veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for the service and honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay for it. Today we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave. And the guests who have arrived today, we have Dave Eckleberry, father of Miss Lindsay Eckleberry, Air Force, 6-year Staff Sergeant. Thank you for your service. We have Robert O'Hara, grandparent of Samuel Tucker or Tucker family. Yes. Navy, 11 years, and three active in reserves. Thank you for your service. Agent Randolph, father of Cooper Randolph, and A.J. Reiser, Marines. 3 Corps. Thank you for your service. Brandon Campbell, spouse of Laura Allen, Army, 7 years. Thank you for your service. John Scanlon, spouse, U.S. Army, 20 years, 8 days. Thank you for your service. We have a honored guest tonight and the founder of Car Excellence STEM Academy. And she was the very first principal of the school, part of the school, founded the school, and that was over, I think now, 25, 30 years ago almost. It's some time. And today we are honored to have her as our guest. her name. Retired Colonel Dr. Nora M.K.Noble is a distinguished retired military service professional. Her accomplishments have placed her in the ranks among few select servicemen and women who have blazed a trail of excellence for those who have come behind them. Colonel Noble honorably retired from the United States Air Force after 27 years of service to the country, and below are just a few of her career highlights. During her military service, Colonel Noble became the first African American woman to command the USAF Reserve Nurse Corps in Denver, Colorado. She volunteered her services at the command post as a flight nurse in Vietnam, the first African American Air Force nurse to become the command nurse of the Alaskan Air Command, with a dual role as a chief nurse of the USAF Medical Center in Elementor, Alaska. The first female base commander over the USAF Aerospace Guidance and Metrology Base located in Newark, Ohio. She retired from the Air Force in 1987 and became the first African American colonel to be inducted into the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. Post-retirement, Colonel Noble, in partnership with her husband, began Par Excellence Learning Center, located in Newark, Ohio. Par Excellence was a private school serving children in grades kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten, respective grade. In this capacity as co-founder, Colonel Noble became the first woman to secure accreditation to the state of Ohio Board of Education in under 19 months. While serving Par Excellence, Colonel Noble was appointed to the Ohio State Medical Board, where she became president. As you can imagine, Colonel Noble holds a number of awards and has been recognized as a respected authority in defense, medicine, and education. But her greatest accomplishments are those made in her role as a devoted wife to Dr. Charles W. Noble Sr. and mother of Celia Kendall and the rest of her children. So, today we have our Zoom, and I would like to give you all the opportunity, each this spring, the questions that the classes have, that you can ask her, and she can tell us what she would like for us to know as we open the chat line up for questions. Oh, let's take her off. Yeah, she's off mute now. There we go. How are we doing today? Can you hear me?
No, she's asking us.
Yes, I'm doing fine, thank you.
I would leave it. Okay. We're working on the sound.
Okay,
There we go.
yes. Is that better?
Yes.
Good. So you want me to begin?
We're good. We can hear you good now. Please tell us a little bit about your service as we are getting our questions through our chat so that we can ask you.
All right,
Teachers,
thank you.
please send your questions to the chat.
All right, thank you. Well, good morning to everyone. It's great privilege to be before you today. I look forward to seeing you in person, though, one of these days soon when school is in session. And congratulations and thank you to those that you have acknowledged for their service in the military. I agree with that wholeheartedly. To the boys and girls in the school and the educators as well, it was a joy to start Par Excellence Academy. We started in the church. That's where it all started, was in the big room in the church. And then we had classrooms in the church as well, K through 3. we started out small rather than big, because if you take a small bite, you can get to the big bites. So that was the beginning of the school, and it was a pleasure to do that in such a short time. In doing that, it was a lot of individuals who assisted me as a group to help me with all of the things that was necessary and required of the state of state of Ohio. So we had a lot to do there as well. Concerning my military experience, I went into service as a first lieutenant, and the reason why I went in as a first lieutenant rather than a second lieutenant was because I had worked 3 years as a nurse, and so they gave me credit for those 3 years. I wanted to do the 3 years to see
this meeting is being recorded.
If I wanted to be a civilian nurse, or did I want to be a military nurse? So I was going to compare the two. But when I got into the Air Force, it was really funny, because my recruiter said to me, where would you like to be stationed, your first station? So I told him I would love to go to California. And he says, okay, you'll get to California. I said, no, I'm not going to get California. I'm going to get Texas. I said, I'm just so sure I'm going to get Texas. So he said, no, you're going to get California. I said, all right. So then when time came for my assignment, I was sent to Abilene, Texas. That was my first duty station at Guy's Air Force Base, Abilene, Texas. I was there as a staff nurse. I left there and went to Bangor, Maine. While I was at Bangor, Maine, I left there and went to flight school so that I could become a flight nurse. And after I finished flight nursing, I went to Rhine-Main, Germany, where I worked as a flight nurse. We would bring patients from different parts of that country to the States, to various hospitals in the States. After I left that duty, I was assigned to McGuire Air Force Base in charge of some type of a flight organization that was there for me to be over. So that was good as well. I went on to be stationed when I was at Rhine-Main. They needed nurses, flight nurses, to work, to fly into Vietnam. So I volunteered for that duty, to fly into Vietnam and bring the sick and wounded out of Vietnam into the various places here in the States. That was challenging, but it was also rewarding to know that you're able to help somebody to come from the area of trauma into a place where they can get the care that they really need. So that was a rewarding experience for me. After I left there, I went to, there had to be progression in grades, and I'm going to show you this board that will show you the grades that I've progressed through. I hope you can see it. Can you see that?
Scoot it back a little bit.
Do you see the board?
Ooh, there we go.
There we go. You see it? Thumbs up. Okay, so I progressed from first lieutenant to captain, then to major, then to lieutenant colonel, and then to full colonel. So that's how I got the grade colonel. Okay? So that's how my life went in the military. I later I wanted to see how the Air Force functioned, to make a connection with the medical and the line. It was called the line, so I wanted to join the line. So what happened was, a captain asked me one day what did I want to do when I left Denver, Colorado. So I told him that I was going to be a base commander. And certainly I did become the base commander of the base in Newark, Ohio. So that's how I got to Newark. And after getting to Newark,
Colonel Noble, we're having a little technology glitch here, and our technology person, Mr. Ames, is fixing it. So hang on 1 second. I don't want him to miss one word. We're still loading up. This happens. We love technology until it doesn't always do what we want it to do. We gotcha. You can unmute.
you can hear me now. Very
We can hear
good.
you now.
Okay, I'm going to show you one more picture. That's me when I was in my uniform.
Wow.
Yeah, big smile on my face. See how happy I was? Yes.
And we have questions coming through for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready for the questions?
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. in second grade that wants to know, what was the best part about you being in the Air Force?
The best part would be flight nurse from Vietnam. That's the best part. It was most rewarding for me. And I was not enjoying it, but it was encouraging how I had to keep for the wounded and the broken men and women, to give them courage, because many of them needed to go forth. They were facing a lot of things when they got to America, and we had to work through those things with them while we were in flight. So that was the most rewarding service for me.
Why?
Mrs. Harris's class, her second grade class, wants to know, what does the pattern on your uniform stand for?
Those are they speaking about the bars that were there? Okay, they had to do with different achievements that I had made in the military, that the unit had made in the military that I was assigned to. So that's what those are for. And then you would get like little stars to go on the medal if you were successful in doing whatever the task was. So that's how I got those.
Miss Irvin's class, fifth grade class, wants to know, what was training like and what was the hardest part?
I laughed because I'm going to tell you what the hardest part was in training. When I got in, and we had to learn how to march. And I'm trying to get the steps right and everything. And so I had to tell the officer that was training us, I said to him, I didn't come in the Air Force to march. I came in to nurse. So he said, well, do the rest again. And I did. So I finally got it together as to how we're supposed to march, how we're supposed to salute high-ranking officers, and that thing. It worked out fine.
Aubrey, why
But
did
it was
Miss
a
Jackson
funny thing
sit
for
down?
me during that time, trying to learn how to
Find your
march.
spot. Why
and
did
get my
take
feet
forward?
straight.
They're watching their video. They're recording.
That was not probably the end they thought.
River, put your shoes on correctly.
Mrs. Lefever's class, grade 3, wants to know where have you been stationed and what types of jobs did you do?
Okay. I started out in Abilene, Texas at Dyess Air Force Base as a staff nurse. I left Dyess and went to Bangor, Maine, where I was a staff nurse as well. I left there and went to flight school in Texas. I finished flight school, went to Rhein-Main Air Force Base in Germany as a flight nurse. Stayed there for 3 years. Left there and went to McGuire Air Force Base for an office job that I was given. And then I left there and went to Alaska. And that would be Elmendorf, Alaska. And I was there as a chief nurse and command nurse as well. And then I left Alaska and went to Denver, Colorado as being the chief nurse of Air Reserve Nurses. And that was a challenging job and a very rewarding one as well. When I left there, I was in Colorado. So I left Colorado and went to, let's see, that's when I got the offer to go as a base commander to Newark Air Force Base. And so I went to Newark Air Force Base, became the base commander there, and retired from there.
Miss Huff's 6th grade class wants to know what encouraged you to join the military?
It was, I guess it must have been in my heart because I didn't see a lot of military in my small town, which was Maxton, North Carolina. So I didn't have anyone that I could look up to say, you know, I want to be like that person or I want to join because of that person. But it was just in me. It was something that I wanted to do, and I'm glad I did.
Do you have any other relatives who were also in the military?
My father was in the Army, but he passed a long time ago before I got to know him well.
Dr. Chardell's class would like to know how many branches of the military are there?
Well, let's see. We have the Air Force, we have the Air Force Reserve, we have the the Navy. We have the Army, the Army Reserve, Army, Air Force, Navy, Army. Which one was it? Yes, Marines. I don't want to leave out the Marines because my brother-in-law.
Marines, yeah.
Yes.
We also have an honored relative of one of our staff, Mrs. Thorpe, and her father served in 4 branches of the military.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I love to
So,
hear.
I thought that was really interesting.
It is.
She said she served. Because when you serve, your family also is part of that and the support. So thank you for that. What was your biggest obstacle being an African American woman in the military from Mrs. Huff's 6th grade class?
My biggest obstacle.
Because you were actually in before the civil rights movement, right?
Yes.
Bailey.
Well, I think I don't recall an obstacle. I really don't. And the reason being that I believe it's how I was able to carry myself as a person, as an officer, and be committed to my duties. And that was required of all of us. And I did it well. So I could get no flack from anybody about that.
What do you feel was your greatest achievement in the military? And that's also a 6th grade question. And this is
My greatest achievement was, number 1, becoming full colonel. That was a great achievement for me, and I was really very happy for that because my mom was able to see it, and I was thrilled that she could see that her daughter had made it full colonel. So that was my greatest achievement. Yeah, that was it.
Mr. Blaney's 4th grade class wants to know, did you make any good friends in the service?
Made a lot of good friends, a lot of them, a lot of good friends, a lot of good families. It's strange about all branches of the military, as I see it. I see that we are brothers and sisters, no matter what your to service was, no matter what your grade was, we're still brothers and sisters in the military. All of us are.
Mrs. Huff's 6th grade class would like to know, how many people do you think you helped while being a nurse in the military?
How many did I do what?
How many people do you think you helped?
That I helped?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And that's a big question. That's a big question.
Yes. I helped many. So many. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking hundreds and hundreds.
I would think more than that. I would think
Thousands.
Oh, I would think millions. Yes. It was, it's not so much that you stay with the military It's when you are stationed at a place, you branch out into the community, and therefore you're able to help the community as well. So it was good.
This is a staff question. How do you think the military has changed since you were in the military?
I think it's based on the information that I received from those on active duty. They tell me that it has changed greatly, with a lot of problems with gender, a lot of problems with race, a lot of problems with pay, a lot of problems with health issues. So it's changed tremendously from when I was in. Of course, those things existed, but not as prevalent as they seem to be festering now in the military. I think that that we have to really look seriously how we're treating our veterans and how we're treating our active duty personnel. That's very, very important.
This is a staff question. What do you think are the traits that you need to be successful in any arm of the military?
The trait for me is, number one, if you're assigned a task, you must be committed to that task, whatever it is, to that assignment, whatever it is, you're committed. And the due diligence to that task. Because if you have the commitment to give your all to whatever is assigned to you, you will do your best. And in doing your best, it flows out to those around you because they see what you're doing and sometimes they want to do what you're doing. And it's easier for a person to follow you if you're a good leader, if you're a good listener, if you're due diligence to your work, if you are on time to work, if you're not complaining frequently about things that are going wrong, rather than getting in and seeing what you can do to make it right. You see, there are a lot of things that we complain about that we could change ourselves if we would get busy and do it.
That's called transferable information. I think it goes to education too.
It does.
Very good information. We have one last question from our classes. How did you get to all the different places that you went to?
Oh, I bought a book. Let's see. I'm going to show you just this one thing. Can you see that? Wow. So I got to different places on two planes. One was the C-141 and the other was a C-131. When there's a C in front, it means it's a cargo plane. In other words, we can take cargo or we can take patients. But when we flew on the C-141 and the C-131, we carried patients. And we could configure the inside of the aircraft to carry patients. And that's what we did. So this is the base thing that we had outside the base. That was outside of the base at Nora. That's what that picture was taken. I don't know if I have another one here any place. I had the change of command when I changed hands here for the base. Then I had the picture when I was speaking for the veterans on Veterans Day out at the cemetery. And this is the pinning of my Colonel Bar wings. Yes, that's my mom. I was so glad she could be there. She was excited too. Stevie was there too. Mother was holding Stevie in her lap. She was a better leader. Yeah. Oh, that was wonderful.
So you were on the plane most of your experience in Air Force a lot.
Mostly for Ryan Mine, mostly when I was at Ryan Mine, I did more flying on the plane, C-131 and C-141.
One last question, fifth grade wants to know, and you don't have to give us numbers. Did you get paid a lot in the military?
Initially, no. But as I moved up in grade, then my pay increased. So I didn't worry too much about pay because I knew if I kept working hard and increased in my grades, that I was going to make it. And I did. And I made good pay, good retirement. I have no complaints.
Thank you so much. Is there anything as we close out that you would like our students to walk away with? Because this was great information that you shared with us.
One thing that I would like for each of you students to really focus on is ask yourself the question, what is it that I want to be? What do I have to do to get there? And then you have to understand that this education that you're receiving now is a foundation to prepare you for whatever it is that you are going to achieve in life. So in order to do that, I used to tell my students, we work hard when we're in the classroom. We work very hard. We pay attention, we're obedient, and we're respectful. When we're outside playing, we play hard, get all that energy out, and come back in and work hard again. So it's all about understanding the value of education because it's extremely valuable for you. If you get this foundation in you now, you will know how to study, you will know how to respond to people, you will know how to write, you know how to spell, how to read, and how to take care of math. And I understand, and I want to congratulate you because you're doing extremely well in reading and math, and I am excited about that. I am extremely excited because you can't find that everywhere. No. So your genius, keep going, build on that genius that you have, build on the brain that you have. Make sure that you're eating well. Don't rely on a lot of candy and sweets and stuff like that because that's not good for you. It's all right sometimes, but not all the time. So So try to eat well. And I know sometimes mom and dad, they have trouble with trying to get you to eat right. But try to make the sacrifice and start eating right. That's very important. Because as I traveled through the world, I had to eat different things, different foods, whether I liked it or not. But if I wanted to survive, I had to eat it and go on about my work. So continue to do exceptionally well in all of your classes. Give it your best. I'm going to follow you every year, see how you're doing. And when I get the opportunity, I am going to visit you in person.
Please do. Please do. Because our culture at our Excellence STEM Academy was built on your foundation of health, harmony, and service. And thank you for your service. And we appreciate all that you have contributed and be strong on us. We strong foundation starting with you.
It's true. And you
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
While Veterans Day is primarily a tribute to America's living veterans and should be observed more as a celebration than a somber remembrance, it is always appropriate to include a moment of respect for those who gave their lives for their country. And Tyler will now play Tap. Please bow your head. This concludes our program, and everybody, thank you for attending. I appreciate you all being here, and again, we cannot thank you all enough for your service. We'll see you.
Lunchbox, go get it and put it at your seat, but do not open it yet. Okay? Don't open your lunchbox yet. Just have a seat. Alright? Because I don't want you to start eating until